Well, hi everyone, Sean Humphreys here. Welcome to the Take Charge of Change podcast. In a recent article on ladders.com, I came across a study that a financial planner conducted. It was a fairly small study, but he looked at the mental habits of wealthy people and compared that to a sample of people who were not as successful, poorer people. So he came up with 5 basic mental strategies that these wealthy people acted on a regular basis. I think you'll enjoy hearing those strategies in this edition of the Take Charge of Change podcast. Well, this article was written, and it was Tom Corley, who was a financial planner, a certified financial planner in the United States, that did the study. Like I said, it wasn't an exhaustive study. He interviewed 233 wealthy people and 128 poor ones. It doesn't go into the metrics around how he defined wealthy or poor, but I do think that when you look at the basic points that came out, they're just a really good confirmation and reminder of some really important principles that we all need to be mindful of when it comes to career success, personal success, and achieving financial success as well. So let's take a look at the 5 principles that he came up with. So the first one is, number 1, they learn to keep their cool. Interesting enough, wealthy people have the ability to regulate their prefrontal cortex better than many other people. They didn't allow emotion to hijack their reasoning ability, their ability to logic through problems, or to damage relationships by being out of control emotionally. And we know that just by experience. Those people who do not regulate their emotions, they're not as good at maintaining relationships. They tend to hit a ceiling career-wise. People just don't want to deal with them. A great book that we've talked about in past podcasts, The Likability Factor, gets into that, where you can have really smart, competent people that put a cap on their career success because they just are not likable. They don't get along with people. They allow their emotions to get the better of them, and they alienate relationships. Okay, so that's point number 1. They keep cool under pressure. Number 2, they make a to-do list every day. And of course, we've all heard this one. It's interesting that for the wealthy, when we look at that habit, it's something that a very high percentage of them initiate regularly, 81%, whereas poor people, by the definition of a study, only 19% of poor people did. So whether you do it the night before, the morning you get up, writing down the important to-dos, really getting focused on what needs to get done, prioritizing those things, that was a consistent behavior that came out of the study that Tom had done. Number 3, they take the time to work on their professional network. Roughly 5 hours a month, but what they did was they were very intentional about building those relationships, nurturing the relationships that would help them professionally. They would try to look for ways of providing value as well. Only 16% of the poor people initiated those kinds of activities. So again, networking, cultivating, building professional networks is really critical. Number 4, they watch TV for 1 hour or less a day. I'm not sure whether that incorporated just random, web surfing, that kind of thing. But the basic takeaway was they didn't waste a lot of time. They were very intentional around how they used their time. Yes, they probably disengaged and sought for renewal, which we'll talk about in a minute, but they didn't spend a lot of time just, watching TV and being mindless. Number 5, they make sure to take time off. We talked about this in previous podcasts, where the principle of oscillation, understanding that there's times when we need to be on and focused and productive, but we can't do that all the time. And so there's the oscillation that takes place through the workday, the oscillation that takes place through the work week, where at least 1 day a week should be completely off, not doing anything profession related, and throughout the year, building in breaks where you're disengaging completely, seeking renewal, physical renewal, mental renewal, emotional renewal. So when you come back into the work and professional context, you're just that much more effective. Well, those are the 5 tips. I think they're good reminders. At Take Charge of Change, we spent a lot of time talking and thinking about the whole area of professional and personal resilience and how to cultivate that. Bounce back ability, the ability to handle challenges and not allow those challenges to derail our professional pursuits and the achievement of our goals. And that incorporates the whole notion of nurturing health and vitality, enhancing our cognitive skills and creativity. Our relational, emotional resilience is really important, just to name a few areas. Well, if you're interested in starting a conversation about how you can cultivate professional and personal resilience in your organization so that you can achieve your goals this year, reach out to us. We'd love to start a conversation about how we can create customized programs for your organization. Be resilient.